to the WAN Show.
WAN Show.
WAN Show.
Yeah.
It's my favorite show because it is my show. This would be, if it was your show, it would be your favorite too. I forget how the song goes, but whatever. It was Tom Green. It's the Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom. I don't remember the tune because I never watched the Tom Green Show. I didn't really like it, but
Yeah. Oh, really?
yeah, I can't tell you why.
Tom Green Show. I'm not mistaken. That's the duct tape one, right?
I don't know. Wait, no, that's the Red Green
Red Green Show. I like the Red Green Show.
You don't know who Tom Green is? He was like
really bad at
he was like the Jackass, like the shock
Oh,
value.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he televised his testicular cancer operation and stuff like that. Like
Great.
that's him. Well, I mean, conquering cancer is good.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at his balls.
Nope.
So there's good things and bad things about all of this. Not much bad to say about our first sort of teaser topic of the day.
So Skylake CPU's information has been leaked. Oh, right. I heard there was a lake.
I heard there was a lake in the sky.
Oh,
I heard that was the information that was leaked.
Is the Skylake leaking?
It could be. What are we going to do without our sky water?
Is that what rain is?
Sky Lake's leaking.
Clouds are actually just these big puffy bowls.
You are the Rain Man.
The cloud just moves too quickly and then the water shifts over the side. Then it just falls down. That's what rain is. Anyways, Google Project Phi, and I'm not going to really say anything else about that. We'll talk more about it later.
It's a good thing this show's about technology and not,
And not science.
not weather patterns.
Yeah. That's why when it's sunny out, it doesn't look like the clouds are moving. That's why when it's stormy out, it looks like the clouds are moving really fast.
Speaking of stormy, my whole world is stormy right now because Valve has released an update that enables paid mods through the workshop. Something that... yeah, we'll have to talk about later. Okay, also the first USB Type-C phones are being announced. And this is important for a number of reasons. And we'll hit you with that later, too. First, the intro.
Will it work? Will it work? Nope.
No! How did that not work?
I told you, it's constantly broken.
That is so stupid.
It is.
This is a local file.
Squarespace.
No, just hold on. Let me just turn the volume so loud. I'm sorry, headphone users. I'm sorry.
Oh God, click the thing. There you go.
Okay. How do I make that go away?
Away, yeah.
Awesome. I got this.
I wouldn't be able to do that right now.
No, you wouldn't. Your knee is broken. Just
Squarespace.
like the difference between these two things is broken.
Oh, jeez.
Also, Linda! Fresh Books! Woo!
It's so exciting!
I'm so excited.
I would like my books to be fresh.
And I just can't hide it. Oh! I'm glad it's Friday. I am so glad it is Friday today.
I'm glad it's Friday too.
It has been a long friggin'
5 weeks.
week. It has been a long 5 weeks. Like, guys, I was on vacation, but you know what? Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get into the actual show later. First, I'm going to talk about my vacation.
Yeah.
I was on vacation, but it was like the worst vacation ever. I mean, infants, toddlers, you name it. They were there. And they were my problem. Like,
and they were sick.
I mean, imagine this, okay? Think about this. You ever been on a plane, right? And there's, like, a crying baby right across the aisle from you. And you're just like, holy crap. Won't that parent shut that kid up? I could go over there and pound them into the ground and take that kid and throw it out the plane. Okay.
I don't even like babies. So yes, that.
Now imagine for a second that you're that person with everyone staring at you.
Well, maybe you should shut the kid up.
Staring daggers. What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm not a dad. It's your job.
You want to hit them? You think then they won't cry? You think that's how it works?
I can't tell welders how to weld. I'm not going to tell a dad how to dad.
You think anyone... Do you think there's a friggin' manual?
Yes.
Well, there is, but it's not very good. No, the government of BC, they have like a...
Seriously?
Yeah, there's a manual.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's like an infant one
is it
and like a toddler
Finland, where they send you like a whole package? It's like this big box, and you have a whole bunch of supplies, and I don't know if there's any books on how to do anything, but there's a whole bunch of supplies and stuff. And then when you're done, you empty out the box. Like when you take everything out of it, the box becomes a crib.
You lost me at packages. I thought we were talking about something else, but I mean, sure, that cool story though. So anyway, worst vacation ever.
Yeah.
And then I come back for like 2 or 3 days or something
2
like
days,
that.
I think.
And
Maybe
then,
3.
well, hold on. At the end of the vacation, I go to Japan, and I have to hang out with this guy for like 3 days or something like that. Yeah.
2.
And we did the
2
Japan
days.
one. Oh my goodness, that was such a long day. Like, we must have worked 18 hours that day.
I was either in airports or in the air longer than I was in Japan for that trip.
Awesome. So after Japan, I came back. I was home for 2 or 3 days. Then I went down to Florida to film a thing for Intel and HP, and I was down there for like 3 days. So basically, like, I arrived late at night, because that's not a short flight. Vancouver to Florida is about as far as it gets within North America. I mean, not quite, but like pretty darn close. So I like waste an entire day flying, plus the time change. So that's, 11 hours in the air. No, and if you count being at the airport on time, so it's like 13 or 14 hours, including like transit times and stuff. Then I basically crash, film all day the next day, go home and work, or go back to the hotel, work, crash. Then I burn the entire next day going back up to Canada. Thankfully, I got my 3 hours back, but it was like an early morning flight. So I get back, I go to NCIX, I film. I come back here, I film WAN show after filming a couple things. Then I'm like, I go home, I sleep Friday night, I get Saturday with my family, and then 1 p.m. Sunday, I ship off to Munich. So I go to Germany with Nick Van Berkel, and then I'm there until Wednesday night this week. Finally, yesterday, I was back in the office, back in action. Today, I was back in the office. It is good to be back, and we are going to get going on some of those projects that have been... I mean, people have been asking, why is Luke in so many of the videos these days? Because Linus has been all over the freaking planet. It hasn't been in the studio.
Quite literally.
When are we getting more Scrapyard Wars? Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe we would have to have one of our two co-hosts in the country for that to happen.
For like any reasonable amount of time.
So
you had a plan to shoot a Scrapyard Wars.
That was insane.
That was insane. But at one point in time, he's like, no, man, we gotta do another one. I'll be back for 2 days. I can land. We can film the whole thing. All of it in the 2-day period. I'm like, what? There's no way that's gonna work.
But I'm back.
Yep.
And we will be filming a Scrapyard Wars to coincide with the opening of the new office. You guys should let me know if you want to see a new office update. Presumably they've been working on it. I haven't seen it. I would love to go in and show you guys how the sets are going and how the office building out is going. I'm personally mostly focused these days on building up the new IT infrastructure to put into the new office. I'm really excited about that. Luke and I were looking at the numbers, kind of going... Oh, snap, son. We're going to have two $4,500 Xeons. We're going to have, I think it was 11K worth of Kingston SSDs.
Yeah, just
We're
SSDs.
going to have, I think it was 16K worth of Seagate hard drives. And this is just like 4 things out of all the servers. So I think we're going to have something like 3 or 4 racks in there. We're going to have, anyway.
There's the Norco racks. There's... everything else.
There's the 45 drives rack. There's potentially a dedicated rack for the security system that you don't even know about yet.
Well, a lot of high-end security systems need rack mount stuff, so I'm not surprised at all.
So that's a whole other thing. So we're going to be looking at like some pretty mad gear in that room. So I'm getting all of that arranged ahead of time so that when we move in, we're going to have some wicked infrastructure. I don't know if some of you guys saw the Instagram post that I sent out before the WAN show today, but what I've been working on most of the day today is consolidating all of the data off of the stupid shelf covered in hard drives onto the Storinator. So that's the 45 drives rack mountable system. And I've been building up the new day-to-day use server. So that's the one with the 24... By the way, they are not V300 SSDs. So many people are like, oh, why are you using Kingston V300? They're actually Kingston KC series drives. So they're the new KC... Wow, I should really know this. The box they came in was here somewhere, but I've lost it. Don't worry about it. KC something or other. Anyway, it's their new KC series business drive. So that is what we're actually using. So it's going to have 24 drives in RAID 50. Oh, KC310. 24 drives in RAID 50. So just for lols, I made a 24 drive RAID 0. So each 8 drive chunk is RAID 0'd. Then I RAID 0 striped the entire 3 arrays on each of the 3 RAID cards. And that, I had a lot of people saying, oh, Linus has got a RAM drive set up. No. No, that's 24 SSDs running in RAID 0 on some pretty high-end LSI controllers. Those are 9271s. Pretty nice controller cards. So, internal...
All those people in chat are like, WTF is RAID 50.
RAID 50. Yes, okay. Well,
it's RAID 5. And
I think that was... Nope, that's the only explanation they need.
I was doing this because I was expecting you were going to talk, and I was going to do the symbolism while you were talking. I actually do that a surprisingly large amount of time. But it didn't work out because there was no speech, so it was just like...
Okay, I can talk now. So RAID 50 is the way we're actually going to run the SSDs, and that is with 3 8-drive RAID 5s. So that's 7 plus 1 for parity. Okay, so we lose 3 drives worth of capacity, and then I'm going to take those 3 RAID 5s and use the operating system to software stripe them. So we're going to get a total of, I think it's around 19 terabytes of usable RAID 50 storage, and I ran some benchmarks on that too. Performance is looking really good, especially for reads, which is what we want, because this is something that people are going to be using to play back media in real time, in 4K, on their project timelines, on their individual workstations. So that one's going to have 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes of SSD storage-ish, and then it can withstand up to 3 drives being lost, as long as it's 1 per array, and there's going to be a cold spare, just in case something does fail, so we can pop that in there. I could have gone with a hot spare and a RAID 5, but then I only get 18 drives worth of capacity, which kind of sucks. And especially because we're going to be backing it up constantly to another server throughout the day, I figure, what the hey, let's just let it do its thing. You know what I mean? So that's going to be super awesome. Then it's going to have 20 gigabit per second bandwidth to the rest of the office, so people will be able to actually draw data off of it at 2 gigabytes per second sustained. Madness.
Absolutely. No, Sparta.
Yeah.
Or no. New office. Get it?
You have to spit a lot though. So
Yeah.
I
can't do it because it's gonna peak the crap out of the mic.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it too. I was should I do it?
If we had a really good attenuation setup, I'd just go for it. But
I'll get
all the headphone users are just gonna literally bleed.
Yeah, I'm gonna get saliva all over the blade. And
well,
stuff.
you could and then go up.
Yeah, it would still spray on there, and it could even get on you. And I mean, there are ways I like to apply saliva to you.
Collateral damage for an epic yell. Oh wow.
So let's go ahead and get this show underway. So let's start with the Squeaklockers article.
Someone just said 20 gigabyte RAID. Wow, Linus. Nope, that's wrong. Anyways,
did I say 20 gigabyte? Oh, I did too. I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
20
that's funny.
20 terabyte RAID.
I thought they misinterpreted
Sorry.
you.
No.
Anyways, Sweetclocker's article, I can actually post it in the chat. The chat.
Wow.
When show.
It's a good thing it's live. For who? I don't know.
As you might expect, this might be a little bit hard to read, but if you can scroll down, you can make pretty good sense of the chart, or I believe on the Linus Tech Tips article, which I can also post, I think it has an English version.
So basically, I mean, it's mostly numbers and things that we can pretty much interpret on our own. So the top-end Skylake model is going to be a 4-core, 8-thread, 4 gigahertz, 95-watt TDP. Sounds an awful lot like the last...
So 4790K has an 88-watt TDP, has the same amount of L3 cache, turbos to a higher amount at 4.4, has the same base and the same core and thread count.
So, unless there are some serious IPC improvements here, we are looking at another generation of status quo.
Yep.
Sounds
very much like status quo. I'm sure there will be a 10% improvement.
The 6600K breaks the traditional naming scheme of the Core i5 4-core, 4-thread variant of the high-end one, which is exceptional for no reason whatsoever.
I don't know.
We have a pretty high-clocked T SKU, which is actually pretty sexy looking. There is a 2.8 gigahertz, 3.6 turbo, 35-watt processor. So I can geek out over that a little bit.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
I mean, if you're into like, wow, that's actually, I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. There's no like super badass option, but there's the like.
But the good news
really,
is that
really nice Prius option.
Intel has finally actually restored some validity to the high-end platform. So 2011 V3
Right.
is.
But you don't want people to restore validity to something by like stopping making the other thing better.
Right.
It's not like they stopped making it better, but like, you know what I mean. Because there might be improvements in other areas that don't really show up on the chart very well, but it's probably going to be that good old 10% that we've gotten used to. So.
35 watts, suck it. The first USB Type-C phones are being announced. This is off of Stuff.tv. And you've probably never heard of it. You know what? I'm going to confess. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so...
I believe they're all Chinese phones, so I don't think any of them are going to be necessarily available here. They're all, I believe, Li TV or LE TV. I'm not sure how you're actually supposed to say it.
Le TV would be my guess.
Le TV.
I could be wrong. But I like it that way. Le TV, phone. USB Type-C.
I think it's one or two phones and a phablet.
So you're not even classifying them as phones anymore? No. All right. I'm not against you. I'm just saying that
they're just so
dumb. Not a big phablet guy because I'm not a big guy. I get why some people like them, just to be clear. I get why some people like them, but you know, it was really refreshing for me to see the Galaxy S6 just be a normal size and not have to up the ante in terms of just making it bigger.
I do have to say though, this phone is too small.
The iPhone 5S?
Yeah. Height is probably okay, but like when my thumb takes up that much of the screen, I can't type.
I don't have my 6 on me, but I bet the 6 would be more like your size.
I typo almost every word. Like, it's insane.
The thing I
Absolutely not.
The thing I don't like about the 6 though is the rounded edges. It doesn't work for me.
I like this one's form factor very much, except I just wish just make it a bit wider,
right,
and then everything else would be great.
So I actually finished my Galaxy S6 review. Okay, hold on. We should probably talk about USB 3 Type-C. So just to be clear, guys, USB Type-C doesn't necessarily have to be USB 3.1. This is actually something I didn't realize. I think I even did a Fast as Possible where I might have actually covered that it doesn't have to be 10 gigabit.
But didn't absorb.
Yeah, I think
I covered it a little bit in my MSI coverage at CES.
I thought they all had to be 10 gigabit. Turns out they don't. So the first USB 3 Type-C device that we'll be getting, like finished device, I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about it, but it's going to be a USB 3.0 Type-C. So that's 5 gigabit per second versus USB 3.1 Type-C, which is 10 gigabit per second. So I'm not necessarily expecting phones to have 10 gigabit per second connectivity because there would be literally no benefit at all. Like even high-end phones like the Galaxy S6 right now would not be even close to saturating USB 3.0 if in sustained transfer rate. So it's not a concern at all for the time being. But the benefits either way are that it's reversible. So you don't have to fumble for it in the dark. In theory, although this has not been validated yet, it is more durable than micro USB Type B.
I have some worries about that.
I do too, but you know what? If there were two companies that I would expect to kind of validate something before tossing it out to all their customers, they would be Apple. Apple implemented it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
Apple's
been changing a lot.
Apple
lately.
has never adopted micro B though, and
That's
Lightning is an excellent connector.
Yeah, I think Lightning's a lot better than Type C
So I
in
like
terms of just the physical connector.
they adopted Type C. Not only did they adopt Type C, I mean, and remember, Apple's warranty policies are extremely good.
Yeah.
For them to go, okay, we're betting on Type C being the only connector to plug in anything else. Apparently, they expect that to last for the lifetime of that device.
With the Type C that I've worked with so far, and this could be a not fully released thing, because it was all tester stuff.
Right.
This could be a wasn't worn in enough at all yet thing, because it was fresh. But like, to plug it in, you have to like push pretty hard, and to take it out, you have to pull pretty hard. Like when I first plugged it in, I thought it was fully plugged in, and then let go, and was like, oh, interesting, I didn't feel it lock. And then Burkle was like, and like shoved it in, and it clicked in. I was like, wow, okay. And then you have to reef on it pretty hard to get it out. Like it's weird, and I'm worried about the amount of force that it takes.
Right.
I feel like it could be bad for multiple things.
Interesting. Well, I have a Type C motherboard and prototype device downstairs that I'll be checking out. Maybe I'll take it home this weekend.
This was quite a while ago, and this was with like super tester level stuff, so that could all be wrong.
So anyway, those phones. There's a bunch of other benefits. So you can connect your device to an external display through it. I mean, you can do a lot of different things through it with dongles and whatnot, thanks to the USB at least 3.0 bandwidth, as well as just the flexibility of the connector standard. I have a lot of hope for it being better than Micro B, because almost anything would be better than Micro B.
I'm sure it will be.
So there's that. We can talk a little bit about those phones. So there's a low-end one with a 5.5-inch 1080p display, a MediaTek X10 processor, 3 gigs of RAM, 3,000 milliamp hour battery. It's funny how like a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, 3 gigs of RAM, and a 1080p screen are a low-end phone these days.
Yes,
It's nice. The mid-range one has a 2K display, Snapdragon 810 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and the high-end phablet one is also a 2K display, but 6.3 inch, so it's huge. 4 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 810, and AKG audio. Apparently, they're getting into the whole,
that's really interesting.
Rebranded audio thing. The funny thing about that is the companies that are rebranding the phones, whether it be it Beats or AKG or Harman Kardon or whatever else, none of them make DACs. And for that matter, does AKG even make speakers?
Not that I know of, but I could totally be wrong about that. I don't know enough.
So I guess it's just like a certification process or
microphones
something?
and headphones.
Maybe the microphone is really good or something. Anyway, let's move on to another phone.
Okay, sorry. I have to show this. It's like headphones for your lifestyle, and it shows that dude hugging what I presume is his girlfriend, and it's like, I'm not listening to you. Hello, good to see you. Okay, bye.
Is that a closed? Yeah, that's a closed.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
A closed back headphone, man. Here, is that just AKG.com?
Yeah.
All right, we gotta share that with you guys. Let me just go ahead.
I find that to be wonderful.
Fire that up on my screen. So that's what's going down over here. It doesn't go down apparently because. Physics.
Yeah, it's the one arm hug too.
Yep. And he's like not even looking at her.
No, here's the one arm hug. I'm looking at something behind you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hug you and then
he's
pass
checking
by.
out the chick behind her. It's totally happening.
Maybe it's his sister, and the girl behind her is the one he's actually interested in. So he's like, "Oh hey, yeah, good to see you," and then going to the other girl.
Right. Well, that's a
I'm
good way to
creating
behave.
a back end storyline.
If it's his sister.
Yeah.
You're all about the back end, aren't you? All right. So moving on to the OnePlus 2. The original article here is from Android Central, and I have the M link in here. There we go. You will finally be able to buy the OnePlus 1 whenever you want, but they are also going to be reintroducing the invite system with the launch of the OnePlus 2, which we're expecting sometime in the third quarter, so sometime in about the next 3 to 6 months. So as annoyed as you were with OnePlus and the whole invite system, or send us your sexy photos and you can get a phone, or you can buy a phone, or whatever, all of the completely
All coming back.
disastrous stuff. I guess it's all coming back. They do have some comments about the OnePlus 2, so we'll be far more prepared to make the transition into whatever the original transition was, something. We're committed to maintaining razor-thin margins in order to give as much value as possible back to users, and this increases our risk. It will bring the challenges that came along with a brand new product, and initially our invite system will help us to manage that risk. It also helps us to be sure that every OnePlus 2 user gets the amazing experience that they deserve.
Sure, man.
So
There's some rumored specs of the OnePlus 2. There's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 processor, Android 5, dual SIM card support, which is kind of cool for like some people. I think it's kind of cool, but not everyone
I
will
find it
necessarily
useful.
care. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like it too. 4 gigs of RAM, micro SD card support, which is going away on a lot of phones, so that's nice
yeah,
to
I was really surprised to see Galaxy S6 with
Yeah.
no removable battery and no micro SD.
see. Yeah, and a 3300 milliamp hour battery.
With that said, the one time that I've ever really had to use micro SD on an Android device, it let me down. I tried to use the micro SD expansion on my Shield Portable. What I can't figure out what Nvidia is calling any of this stuff. Is that one of our news articles today?
No.
I didn't look at it in the article, but they renamed the Shield console. They renamed it Shield Android TV. It's like, what are you? Are you Android TV? Are you Shield? You don't know what you are. And so I think it's still called the Shield Portable, the handheld one, okay? So I wanted to store some emulated games, some ROMs on it. And
Like the original Shield.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
Well, because there's the
Shield Classic!
There's the Shield tablet.
Now with more
And
aspartame.
the Shield tablet's technically handheld.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
wrong,
no,
it's just confusing.
It's incredibly confusing.
Yes.
So I wanted to put some ROMs on an SD card. Turns out that if you load a ROM off an SD card with the RetroArch, whatever it's called, something
condone,
save
blah, blah,
states, right? Yeah, not that we condone original cartridges and all that noise. So save states don't save. They try to save, and then there's like a write permissions problem, something. I have to put it on the actual internal memory. So I'm sitting here going, what do you people actually use this for? Because I've switched to a streaming music
Photos
service.
and videos.
And
So you don't use the videos part. Photos.
okay,
But you're not going to take photos with your Shield.
I'm not going to take, well, even on my phones, I'm not going to take more than, like 16 gigs is not enough.
No.
So I don't buy into that. But I'm not going to take 32 gigs of photos. And I don't need a bazillion apps. Like, I like to think people have mostly gotten over the I need 200 apps on my phone thing, because I can't come up with a reason to have more than about 50, or like, and then like a plus or minus, like 10 for like the couple games you're playing right now.
I have the junk folder, and then I have the super junk folder. And the super junk folder, I don't have probably more than 50, but the super junk folder is literally just like the stuff that comes with the phone that I can't get rid of.
The mobility apps.
Yeah, or like whatever junk that I might need to access once in however long.
Somehow Dbrand managed to send me a Bell phone, and I was just like, great. I'm sure glad I didn't just get a random carrier unlocked one. It's like, how did you find this? They're not even Canadian.
That's so random.
But yeah, I found that even having some apps installed on my phone tanks the battery life.
Yeah.
Like I had that issue with, and maybe it's resolved by now, and maybe it was just particular to the 1M8, but I had that issue with Plex just junking the battery life of the 1M8, even when I wasn't using it at all. So I don't know. I think 32 gigs is lots. I think 64 gigs is tons. And the 128 gigs that I have on the iPhone 6 is like way more than enough. So I don't know. I don't care that much about SD expansion, and I don't really care that much about removable battery, but I do wish that the Galaxy S6 had a higher capacity battery. Are they? Oh.
A bunch of people were like, what? They are Canadian.
Oh, oops.
They're Canadian owned and operated, founded on 11/11/11. Same time that Skyrim came out. Yeah. Never forget Skyrim release.
So, right. OnePlus is also expected to launch the OnePlus Lite. So that is not a phone, it's a light. Actually, it's a phone. So it's kind of a cut down version of this. So it's there's an event. Wait, event scheduled on the 20th of April. This is an outdated article. Dang it.
Horrible.
Well, let's see if we can find some actual information on the OnePlus Lite, which...
So it's like 1 plus 1 Lite? Get it?
Okay,
Lite.
so release date,
Wow,
specs,
that doesn't really-
features, and improvements. So the OnePlus Lite. So this is from the Latino
I didn't
Post.
get my joke.
They must... Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. I was
all good.
reading the Latino Post.
It's fine.
I'm surprised their SEO is good enough that they were the first... I think they were the second hit for OnePlus Lite. Something along those lines. Wow, their site is slow.
Look at all them, yeah.
Holy actual balls. And they don't have just like a... Wow, it's just
So many things are loading.
It's
that's
just a
why.
link to John Rettinger's video and then like a mass ton of ads.
The most ads. Holy crap.
And, like, a bunch
There's
of
even one
clickbait
coming
crap.
in down there.
Okay, this site is terrible, so I don't care anymore. I've lost my attention span for it.
Yeah.
So, Google Project Fi.
Yeah!
Original article here is from TheVerge.com, so I'll go ahead and
Just in case you weren't
let you cover
sure
this.
if Google has all of your data yet.
Yeah.
Now you can be 100% sure because they can be your cellular provider.
Tell me this. That news last week about Bell selling customer information. Who would you rather? Google or Bell at this point?
You might as well keep it all in one place. Google might as well just have all of it.
Since they already have it all anyway.
Like, whatever. I don't know.
Well, they know. Okay, they do know where you are. All right,
I
fine.
was telling... Okay, Taryn posted on something the other day that he was happy that service that he posted it on didn't necessarily know where he worked and lived and what he did for work and all this kind of stuff because it would keep asking him about it. And I read it and didn't comment on it, but I was like, dude, they know where you're logging in and where you stay logged in overnight, and then they know where you log in every day and who else all logs in there, and then who else has those things filled in their profiles while you're there. Like, they know. They just want you to fill it out so that it can tell everyone else really easily, and so that you give them 100% permission to know that information.
Yep.
They know exactly what's going on.
Yep.
Like, that's why, what is it, like, Kmart or whatever knows when people are pregnant often before they do because their, like, shopping patterns will change and stuff. Like, they know. Yeah, it's done. Anyways, they want to be a cellular provider. It will be running on both Sprint and T-Mobile, switching between the two, as well as Wi-Fi base, which is pretty cool. I'll talk about that more later. $20 a month gets you talking, texting, and Wi-Fi tethering, and international coverage in 120 plus countries. And a flat. This is a really interesting pay model for their data.
Hold on, can I jump in for a minute?
Yes.
How is Wi-Fi tethering not included?
You mean in other plans?
In this, yeah. How is Wi-Fi tethering still a feature? It is 2015.
Yeah.
Man, that makes me mad. Every time I go down to the States, and because I'm just using a pay-as-you-go, and like, I get it. You're not going to give, you're not going to give it all away to the, pay once per use customers, if you know what I mean, or something, wherever I was going with that, and it's just depart. So I get it. You're not going to have every feature. I don't expect to have voicemail transcribing to text messages and sending it to me. I get that, but not being able to use the data that I paid for is really frustrating. Like, I was trying to do something.
Are you playing the show?
No.
A whole bunch of people are saying. Sorry, I'm confused. A whole bunch of people are like, "Hey, Linus, the WAN show's starting." I'm like, "What the?"
I don't know.
Do you want to just mute it just in case?
It's muted.
That one.
Oh, sure.
Cool. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Badoop, badoop. So where was I going with this? Right. I paid for the data. Why can't I use it on my laptop? Like, I was trying to figure out a login problem with PayPal, and I was, like, freaking out. And the mobile site wasn't working properly on my phone. I was just like, I would really like to use another device right now for, like, 2 minutes. I just need to load a couple pages, reset a password. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
It's not like you're going to not do it. You're just going to do it in a more annoying way.
Google's including tethering.
So Google's including it, and then this is a really interesting pay model for data. I don't know. Okay, so it's a flat $10 per gigabyte of data in the US and abroad, which is nuts for one. But then, if you don't use your data, you get credit back for what you didn't use. So if you go with a 3 gigabyte plan, so it's $30, and only use 1.4 gigabytes in a month, you get $16 back. And if you go over you only pay the same $10 per gigabyte. What? So why isn't it all just flex plans? Right? Like, what? Like, I'm sitting here reading this going like, okay.
Isn't it going to be a lot more work to deal with all the credits back and forth?
Why don't you just make everything a flex plan? Anyways, I don't know. So if you go over your cap, it's exactly the same as if you didn't go over your cap but had a higher cap. So you can put like a data cap in your phone and cap it that way, or you can just pay the same amount all the time and it's fine. Anyways, so it's pay for only what you use, which is great. It requires
Well, it's not pay for only
SIM.
what you use. It's pay for as much as you think you'll use and
then
get credit back for what you
back
didn't use.
for what you didn't use, I guess. Requires a special SIM card for Project Fi, which makes sense. Works on both existing Nexus 6 devices and new ones, so I don't know if it's only a Nexus thing. Available for only Nexus 6 owners, my bad. No contract, no family plans available, but it's pretty freaking cheap, so whatever. Phone numbers live in the cloud, so you'd be able to make calls and do text messaging stuff from your computer through your phone number. That's definitely going to be a Hangouts integration thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it was one of the things that I liked about I don't even remember what the word they have for it now is, but when I had the iMac and the iPhone 6 at the same time, I don't remember what the word for it was, but I could take calls on the iMac, which was a terrible experience because the microphone is on the back of the display because apparently Apple's engineers don't understand how sound works. But on a device that actually has a decent headphone microphone solution plugged into it, that would be awesome. My phone could just stay in my pocket, and I could just throw my headset on when I'm sitting at my computer at work. Freaking great.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. I think that's really cool.
So it's invite only. So there's that. Also, it looks like it's Nexus 6 only for now. So basically most people, unless they have large hands and an invitation, are not going to be taking advantage of this particular offer.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm sure it'll open up more later, but for now it's pretty locked down.
I send invitations to people with large
goes.
hands.
Anyways, DOJ, which I don't know what that stands
Department
for.
of Justice.
Cool. They could stop Comcast from becoming a mega terrible thing with Time Warner, which is good because of antitrust laws. So apparently Comcast has actually dropped its $45.2 billion bid on Time Warner in light of the DOJ becoming mad and being like, you can't do that. And I think they were going to, what is it actually called? Lawsuit. They were going to put down a federal lawsuit. So then Comcast was like, nope. We don't even necessarily need to keep talking about it because I guess it's not happening. But it could have made them control 30% of the market for pay TV, which is a lot. They would have controlled more than 50% of broadband internet market in the United States, which is a crap ton. So I'm happy that the DOJ did something.
I guess the thing that I don't the thing that continues to bother me though is that they're cozy enough that they wanted to merge, so it's not like having them remain separate.
It's not like they're not going to work together.
Yeah, it's not like the consumer wins. It's not like choice, free market.
They've already been avoiding each other in terms of market share.
Yeah.
So like that's not going to stop. They might even just get a little bit more aggressive. That's all.
I doubt it. Like, why? You already have enough money to buy the earth and all the heavens. So
no, it might become more aggressive about not being in the same market share. Like they might even just avoid each other more.
See, it's funny because I thought you meant business aggressive, but what you actually meant was just being a jackass aggressive. Okay, well, aggressively jackass. We need like a shirt.
Aggressively is such a nicely dynamic word. Mm-hmm. Because you can be aggressively in love with someone, or you can aggressively hate someone.
No, you can't.
Or you can, yeah, you can.
No,
you can. You can. Or
that's
something
stupid.
can have aggressive lines on it.
Tell me this. Okay, hold on.
If you're in love with someone and then someone smacks that person,
we're gonna
you can be aggressive.
We're gonna straw poll this because if it's like okay. Aggressive love, yes, no.
Pursuing one's aims or intents forcefully, sometimes unduly so.
Hold on. Can we just put this out to the? Can we
I
just
just
put
looked
this
it
out
up.
to the audience? It doesn't matter because words mean what we decide that words mean. Because without us,
You've defended
they
the
would have
exact
no meaning.
opposite
Okay,
of what you just said so many times.
Can we all just calm down for a second? See, half the Twitch chat is talking about rape right now.
I didn't
so...
say it was a good thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't say it was a good thing at all.
All right. Okay, so you're not saying it's a good thing, but because what I was gonna say is if I'm staring into her eyes, and it's like, okay, I gotta think of like something charming to say right now.
That's not what
am
I
I gonna
said.
Be? Am I gonna be like
That's not what I said at
my
all.
my love for you is
It's
aggressive?
No, don't do that.
It attacks me.
Don't do that.
It carves out chunks of my body and soul
Wow.
and takes it for itself.
I guess in like the right context, if you were like a
No, there's no
scene
context.
couple, an emo scene couple, maybe. What you just said?
No.
I don't know.
No.
I'm just putting the option out there.
The audience
It's a
likes
bad
it, but
one.
they're wrong. They're wrong. It's like I now know what percentage of our audience is single.
Aggressive love it works. It's just not necessarily a good thing.
It works.
Terms don't have to be good.
Okay, I think it's time to move on. Let's do our sponsor spots. You know what I love aggressively? Lynda.com. I mean just I gotta load up the Lynda is just, I mean, this is the kind
Are
of
you aggressively
this is
studying?
the kind of love that I
Are
could get aggressive
wow.
about.
Oh wow, there's certain people on there.
Who are these people? You know what? Let's just move
go
back
away
to
from
our
that.
handy
Yeah.
dandy lower third. So, Lynda.com is the online service where you can learn. Do you learn to love? I'm afraid that's not what Lynda.com is about. They have other
No.
sites for that. But Lynda.com will allow you to learn about digital photography, business,
Excel,
video editing,
WordPress, Photoshop.
all kinds of great stuff. And the best thing about Lynda.com is that you learn at your own pace and on your own time. So you can do it in addition to your job as a hobby, just if you want to kind of better yourself for fun, or you can do it in addition to your job as a way to get a new job, a better job, or if you have no job, you can run along to Lynda.com and pick up some new skills that could help you get one. We have guys here at Linus Tech Tips. It's not Linus Tech Tips, it's Linus Media Group. I got to learn some things myself. At Linus Media Group that use their Lynda.com skills at their jobs. And if you head over to Lynda.com/WANShow, you can get a
Some of them
10-day
might use their skills fairly aggressively.
free trial. Yeah, you know who's aggressive? Squarespace.
Squarespace.
You don't even know the song.
Nope.
You haven't listened to the song since we did that spot.
Meaning I never listened to the song because I didn't have headphones.
Why do you
You're
even...
the only one that could hear it.
Why do you even try?
Squarespace. Build it beautiful.
No, that's... Okay, that is their new slogan, and that is new since the song, but that's not how... Okay. Squarespace actually has a pretty aggressive thing going on right now. If you go to nycommit.squarespace.com, they are aggressively seeking new software engineers, and if you get an interview, you actually get to come to New York and experience the city as part of the interview process. And it's not like if you don't end up getting hired or anything like that, they like make you pay for it or something. So just getting an interview is good enough to go down and get a taste of the city that made Squarespace possible. And if you guys don't know what Squarespace is at all at this point, for only $8 a month to start, you get a domain if you buy Squarespace for a year, and it's an easy platform to build a beautiful, functional website that works on your computer, your phone, or even other people's computers and phones. So you won't be
Yeah.
the only one to visit your website. I mean,
That would be good.
You might be the only one to visit your website. There's nothing
Maybe.
Squarespace can do about that. But
No.
if people visit your website, whether it's your blog, your store, or your portfolio, they will have a good experience and they will feel like you are competent enough to
You
have
could
a
even-
website.
You could apply to Squarespace, get a trip to New York, and start a blog about your trip to New York on Squarespace. That would probably even help your application.
So, Go to squarespace.com and use offer code Linus to save 10. You know, this is why I really truly wonder how we even get through sponsor spots when I'm not here. Because your entire purpose for being here when I'm trying to talk about freshbooks.com, for example, seems to be
that segue.
to throw me off, which I will not allow you to do. FreshBooks is an online tool to allow you to focus on your business. And I don't mean toilet business. This isn't a Dollar Shave Club spot.
It could
I
be.
mean, it could
What if
be.
you're a plumber?
Okay, actually, the plumber example is a good one because we even tied your dad into this
Yep.
last time. Did your mom see that?
I don't think so.
Did your dad see it?
Neither of them have commented, so maybe they both saw it and they're just like, nope.
Just not going to talk
That's
about
very
that.
possible.
So Luke's dad's problem, all right, seems to be to do with billing. Okay, he had no problem coming in and installing a fantastic copper pipe liquid cooling system for us, but when it came time to send us the bill for his work, it took him just about the gestation period of a human to actually give me an invoice. With FreshBooks, you can do that stuff online. You can log your hours so you know how to bill your clients. You can send invoices by email, and then you can even get confirmations when they've looked at the invoice and have people pay by credit card for the utmost simplicity. So you can spend your time running your business as opposed to dealing with tedious accounting things.
Yes.
It's all cloud-based, so you can take it with you on your phone or you can work on it on your computer. And if you visit freshbooks.com/when, you can claim your free trial today to try it out and decide if you like it. See, I didn't let you screw me up. I didn't even... Who was that sponsor I used to always get the amount wrong for? Remember I used to never know how much it cost?
Is it
Yeah, I think that's the
5-4?
one. I
Maybe.
think that is the one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I screwed up nothing today. Ha! Take that, all of you. All right, so what? Do we have 11 pages of topics today? We've actually been fairly on topic today, and we're still like
There's a lot of rapid fire stuff.
we're still boned. All right, so Norway, this is phenomenal. Norway will be the first country to shut down FM radio. The Ministry of Culture has finalized a transition date in 2017, and I think this is asinine. There's a lot of technological advancements that I believe in, but there are advantages to radio that are not necessarily overcome by mobile data networks. Yeah. So it's not like there isn't, another plan. So it'll be digital audio broadcasting, also known as DAB, which will
Plus.
offer better audio quality.
DAB plus.
Sorry.
Specifically plus. The DAB radios will not work.
So better audio quality, other functionality like showing information about the station you're listening to and what song is playing, which, by the way, we have on FM radio. So that's a thing. The transition will cost Norway the equivalent of $1.3 billion US, and the 200,000 DAB radios will become useless as they don't support DAB+. They've already started advertising for the Switch. You get more radio in a digital radio, and I plain don't get it, because the reality of it is we use FM radio because it's cheap, because it's got great legacy compatibility, and because it's good enough, both in terms of broadcast range and in terms of audio quality. I mean, we can get radio stations from Seattle up here. If you want,
all the time.
which I do all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to reach a bunch of people, radio is still a great way to do it, because the reality of it is pretty much everyone still owns at least one radio. And we can kind of count on that to work. Like when everyone, jumps on their cell phones in an emergency.
Well, radio is I was just going to say, radio is a lot of time the emergency frequencies.
Yeah, so, and I get it. DAB Plus radios are not cell phones, but we're counting on people to have them. So the people who don't have those, and we can't necessarily reach by cell phone or mobile data, because let's say there's an emergency and everyone jumps on it and it's totally congested, radio's going to be the way to reach these people. I don't understand why we need to phase this out.
Someone in chat said that they live in Norway and it just seems like they always just want the newest stuff. So.
All right. Well, newest is not necessarily always the best thing. I mean, I actually had I had a good conversation with Brandon about the some of the new cameras that were released at NAB. So those of you who were following our NAB coverage, probably less than half of you based on the view counts, would know that there wasn't... It was about half of our normal view counts, even for show coverage. Would know that Red released an 8K sensor upgrade to their Red... whatever it is, whichever platform it is. I think it's the Dragon. So this is called the Red Weapon. And I think the camera, once you put the upgrade in it, is called a Red Weapon. It's very confusing because... Because if you upgraded the Red Epic to the new sensor, it became a Red Dragon. And then I think... Yeah, anyway. So
I didn't think the weapon was an upgrade. I thought you had to,
buy the weapon? Not sure. Anyway,
I think you could exchange. And then it's 20 grand. Or 10 grand or something?
It was 10 grand at the show, 20 grand after. The point is, they have an 8K sensor. And I was talking to Brandon about it because Marcus has ordered one already, as we know. And we were just kind of talking about it, going... Why would we be using this? 4K is already... I mean, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. We were releasing 4K videos on YouTube that were upsampled 1080p for a long time. Nobody ever noticed. No one can tell, because the main advantage of 4K playback on YouTube right now is the higher bitrate. And when you factor in also that the cameras that we shoot on, the Sony FS700 and the Panasonic GH4, both have 4K sensors, so their 1080p is actually downsampled. It's like super sampled, because it's downsampled 4K. When you blow that back up, it looks pretty darn freaking good anyway, especially at any kind of reasonable viewing distance. So unless you're pixel peeping, 4K is way more than enough for web video. And to which I kind of went, well, there's the future-proofness argument. Maybe you need more pixels in case you want to republish. Am I ever going to republish a YouTube video on like some kind of futuristic, 5-10 years from now platform? Probably not. So we were talking about it a little bit, and we kind of decided that 4K is already more than enough for us, so we'll be sticking with 4K. And I just feel like shooting at a higher resolution is going to complicate the workflow in a way that is just not worthwhile to me. I mean, if you're just one person working on it, I guess I can see why Marcus would like to do it, because he's got the time to kind of tinker around with it and play with it, and only one person has to learn a new workflow. With us, we're trying to figure out, okay, maybe we could invest that, $10,000 or $20,000 on back-end equipment that makes the 4K workflow butter smooth and absolutely perfect, as opposed to... Yeah, so things like storage servers, that's something that a lot of content creators completely ignore for some inexplicable reason, is having a proper storage setup, which is what we're moving to finally. And that's the kind of thing that for the price of something like a decked out Mac Pro and a Red Weapon, for example, you could have an amazing workflow as opposed to a couple of really cool pieces of equipment. So I guess it's a priorities thing, and also a scale thing, because I'm not going to go and buy 12-core Mac Pros for 4 editors. That is like straight up not happening. Whereas if it was for one, then maybe you could pull my... twist my arm a little bit. Yeah. Google is, wow, look at that, is ditching the old YouTube API. So let's go ahead.
It's not probably as big of a deal as it sounds. For instance, the LinusTechTips.com website used V2 and now uses V3. Okay. I don't know. Not a huge deal. They will have to retroactively update devices, so... Things that use the V2 API, such as some smart TVs, Android and Apple TVs, certain game consoles, iOS devices that are old and outdated, stuff like that, would need an update, but it's not like they can't be updated.
Well, an iOS 5 locked device might not be able to be updated. So you might straight up not be able to use YouTube. If you're using an Apple TV 2nd generation or older, there's no current way to watch YouTube on these devices. Straight up.
That's pretty brutal.
So that's really sucky. I guess we learned a lesson about buying functionality locked boxes.
Yeah.
PC for life! Woo!
This won't really affect your website things.
Yeah.
So it's fine, because every website ever was oh, and then just updated it. By the way, thank you, Colonel Morris. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh my goodness. Colonel Mortis.
Yeah.
Why?
'Cause
That
he
was
did
posted
it.
by Alex Goes High. Oh, okay. Right. We should probably be saying who posted. Lord Sparklebottom, Roozy, Top War Gamer, Cool Kingler 1, I Like Mac and PC, Syntax VGM, Lord Sparklebottom again, and Alex Goes High have given us the news for this week so far. And Wordo165, I both appreciate your effort and wish you had never brought this to our attention at all, because this is basically the worst news of the week. Steam has introduced a new way to support workshop creators and line the pockets of Valve executives. Wait, they don't have that second
Support
part in
workshop
the headline.
creators in the smallest possible way, and line the pockets of Valve executives as much as possible.
Starting with the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Of course.
Of course it does. Buying from the Steam Workshop. Try any mod risk-free for 24 hours. Nothing to do with long-term support, though. That's kind of funny. Buying mods and made by, like, you know, casuals that don't have to support it at all after that. Wow, that's really weird. So, with over 24,000 free mods, I guess there's nothing here about the ones that are becoming paid very quickly now that there is a price on it. And calling all creators, earn money doing what you love. Yeah, set your own price. That's cool. You can add contributors. And where's the part about the 25%? Hold on, 75%. Oh, that's not on here. That's weird. So let's dive into this. This is very much a developing story right now. So everything we're saying now, take it as the information that we had in sort of the hours leading up to WAN Show today, and not much more than that. But I guess let's go with just the facts. Then I think each of us will probably have to weigh in separately, because I think we're going to have kind of differing opinions here.
Sure.
So why don't we just do the facts? The initiative was introduced yesterday. Pitched as a way to support the people that made the mods. I mean, we saw that on the page. Compensating these creators is a way to inspire new modders to try their hand at creating new, higher quality items and experiences. You can make cosmetic items, sound packs, custom skins, fancy houses, epic quests, entire new cities, horse genitals, whatever the case may be, for Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Many more of your favorite workshop games will support paid content in the coming weeks, and they offer refunds for mods that are broken or don't work as promised within 24 hours of your purchase. The sort of stuff that wasn't on the page, that was discovered later and has outraged some consumers and presumably some creators, is that the creator only receives 25% of the revenue from the mod sale. So a $10 mod is actually giving $2.50 to your favorite creator and $7.50 to Valve. There's, I guess, let you go first.
You're running with it. I can go first. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing.
So let's hear your opinion.
One thing is, we like Total Biscuit here. He's been on the show before. He has a video on it. His content patch number 195 is all about this, and he's probably way more well informed than we are. So we will talk about it for sure. But I actually highly suggest going and checking out his thing. I have not watched it yet.
I'll watch it later.
I didn't know there was a thing. I will also watch it later. I'm very interested in what he has to say about it.
Good old John Bain.
I don't like this for a number of reasons. First off is the 24-hour support thing. What?
Hey, people are like going off in chat about this. There's more information that came out. Apparently, the 75% is 45 developer, 30 Valve. Like 45 original game developer.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just because you said 75 Valve.
Okay.
Give me
All
one
right.
So 45 game developer.
Yep. 30
25
Valve,
mod developer.
25 mod developer.
Yeah, that's what people in chat are saying.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. Good to know. Doesn't really change my opinion on it.
Okay, so carry on then.
Yes. Well, maybe slightly, but not enough to really make an impact. So, a big part of my issue with this is that a lot of mods break things. Straight up break things. They can corrupt save files sometimes. They can make it so you can... Maybe the save file isn't corrupted, but you can't play it with that mod, and you can't play it without that mod, so it's useless. They can conflict like crazy. There's just a huge amount of issues with mods, and that's fine when they're all free. But what happens if you have a whole bunch of free mods installed, and then you install a paid one, and it breaks all your free ones? or the other way around. You have a whole bunch of paid mods installed, you install the free one, and it breaks all of those. It doesn't matter for 24 hours. And like, okay, if it breaks my whole save, I don't care about the $1.50 that the mod cost me. I care about the hundreds and hundreds of potential hours that I have into this game. We're talking about stuff like Skyrim. I could have played that game for 800 hours, have a whole bunch of content mods installed that like double, quadruple the actual game length, massively increase what I'm doing. I could have been playing on that one character the whole time, and it could be totally screwed because of that. Yeah, you can say you should be backing up your save file, you should be doing all this other kind of stuff, but still, it's going to happen to someone, and that's crazy. You only have a 24-hour window to get your money back, and getting your money back isn't even the biggest problem there. Okay, continuing on past that part, the 75% thing is ridiculous. 45% goes to the game. Ugh. For just including mod support. Like, I'm totally down with supporting the game developer, and sure, maybe some percentage of it should go to the game developer because we want to encourage them to actually have stuff like mod support.
And with single-player experiences like Skyrim, where is their recurring revenue? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm cool with giving some of the money to the game. 45% is really high. I think they need to invert this whole system. I think Valve needs to get maybe 25%. I think the game needs to get maybe 30%. Then I think the mod developer needs to get probably more than 45%. I think it needs to be completely flipped. Anyways. If it even keeps those percentages at all.
Yeah, I don't think that added to 100, but I get your point.
That's the numbers you gave me.
Oh.
45, 30, and 20. That's why I'm like, what?
Oh, I thought I got confused when you were... Oh, okay.
No, I know it doesn't work. There's 5% missing.
No, it's 25. 25 mod. Yeah,
oh,
25
okay.
mod. That's your problem. Okay, so I have some thoughts on this as well. So there's a couple of things. One very positive takeaway from this is you see the big blockbuster games like your Skyrim.
Oh, hold up. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, people are... That's a whole other thing.
$400 total dollars.
Yeah, we can talk about the fact that people are stealing mods and re-uploading them, and Valve will not pay the.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a $400 cap. Anyway, all of these little rules are basically just sort of piling on to the crappiness that is getting dealt to the modder in all of this. In all of this stuff, I was actually reading up on a couple of these things as you were talking, but there's a couple main sort of bigger picture things that I want to address here. So number one is that it makes sense to me that the game developers who are spending the time to develop these great single-player experiences are getting paid for it. I mean, we see mod support with games like Grand Theft Auto and with games like Elder Scrolls, where these are big-budget games where they're expecting to sell 1,000 bazillion copies, and pretty much, okay, we don't have any recurring revenue from this game, but it's okay because we're going to make that massive amount of money, and there's going to be a really long tail on the sales for years. Like, you could still buy Oblivion, and it would still be a great gaming experience today, even though it's been out for like 8 years or something along those lines. So the blockbuster games, they can include mod support kind of without worrying about it too much. But what incentivizes a smaller game developer to build a great single-player experience? Almost nothing. Why do we see a billion, online multiplayer games? Why do we see a billion MOBAs with, microtransactions for skins? Why do we see everyone and their dog? I mean, this was more of an issue 5 or 6 years ago, but why do we see everyone and their dog trying to build an MMO? Because game developers want a recurring revenue stream for their work, and they want to keep going ahead and working on it and developing it. Now, with all of that said, do I think taking 45% of the revenue for the developer as opposed to the modder, who is the one actually extending the usability of the product and potentially driving new sales of that product to new users based on whether it's missions or whether it's new texture packs that make people want to reinvest in this game or buy the game when they haven't played it before, do I think that the game developer should be getting the lion's share of this deal? Absolutely not. Are they supporting the mod? Are they creating a
Ensuring that
system?
it works.
Yeah, are they creating a system where they're certain that the mod will
Whitelisting
be
things or whatever.
whitelisting things? Are they QCing it? Are they making it so you can roll back the mod? Are they creating a mod module so you can manage your mods really well, and so that if something does damage to something, you can easily undo it? Are they putting these systems in place? Is that what the 45% is for? I doubt it. What about Valve's 30%? I mean, you look at the people blatantly uploading stolen mods already, taking advantage of the system. Is Valve investing their 30% in painstakingly going through the mods and making sure that they work?
That would fall under customer service, so no.
Right. Well, okay, we all knew the answer to this. I was being...
I know, I was taking a shot at the customer service.
And then as for the dev, the 25% is completely unreasonable. As a YouTube creator, it's a source of friction between YouTube creators and Google, that Google takes 45% when ultimately we are creating the content that sits on their platform. Now, with that said, I've accepted the 45% YouTube tax, and I've made a really good living for myself and for the people around me with the 45% YouTube tax, with abandoning that to them and all of that good stuff. Because... Sorry?
Hosting videos is going to be a lot more of an overhead. Yeah. The back end that Google needed to do,
Yes.
the storage of all of our videos, the distribution of all the videos and stuff is much harder than the really small mod
And
file.
YouTube brought us a really big audience compared to what Valve is offering modders simply by listing mods the way that you were already able to do in the workshop. So the YouTube platform has contributed enough that I kind of go, oh, crap, that's a lot of money, but yeah, fine. I get it. You actually have ongoing overhead associated with supporting me.
It sucks, but it's understandable.
Yes. With this system, unless Valve is contributing a lot more than it seems like they are, I mean, I get it. Bandwidth is expensive. Totally get that. But that's the kind of thing where you could have the modder actually just pay per use or something like that. Because there's no real reason why a very, very small mod needs to have a bunch of bandwidth cost associated with it. And I think 25% is a completely unreasonable amount of money to offer someone who actually did all of the work. Literally all of it. I mean, in many cases, these mods have their own dedicated websites where you can go and visit the developer blog, find out what's coming, find out what's not coming. The ones that are well supported especially deserve a proper amount of money for what they're doing.
Something interesting. One thing I have to butt in about is GTA has no official mod support.
Oh, thank you.
It's there's a bunch of games that do, but anyways.
But at least it is moddable. There are games that are a lot more difficult to hack into.
There won't be like a workshop thing for it.
Yeah, no, that's...
Anyways.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, oh crap, what was I going to say now? I forgot after that.
If you're stuck,
okay. The people that are supporting their own mods and stuff, a lot of the times they'll have donate options. Mm-hmm. And donate options, it's all going to go to them except for like the little PayPal cut or whatever.
Yep.
But like...
The 1.
That's so much more worth it to these people.
2 point whatever percent.
So much more worth it.
So okay, but with all that said, so I'm super upset about the way this whole thing is structured. I think it makes absolutely no sense. But there is something that I've seen people upset about that has really annoyed me as a content creator. The idea that mods should be free. Why? If it's crappy, sure, but don't pay for it. If it's crappy, then they're going to release the mod. They're going to get a couple of 1-star reviews on whatever marketplace it happens to be.
I'm okay with like super badass, huge content mods or whatever costing money. That's fine.
Yeah,
I have zero problem.
But no, I know you're not going to have a problem with this. And people are saying modders can still upload for free if they want, and that's fine. But why should they? If modders are putting a lot of work into this, why shouldn't they make money doing it? I mean, the whole internet mentality that everyone should do everything as a passion project doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because with monetary investment from the users comes, I believe, and I mean, this is my principles as a content creator, should come better investment into the quality of the content. I mean, if a mod is as amazing as it is, and it's free, and it's something that someone did purely as a passion project, imagine if you freed up that person's time by making it so they didn't have to have a day job anymore. If that person has, some principles that they stand on where they believe that if they're getting paid, they should work hard and they should do a good job, that should in turn into a better quality mod for you to enjoy. And maybe it costs you $4.95 or whatever the case may be. I don't understand why people are upset about that at all. I just have a problem with, the $4.95 mod ultimately turning into $1.25 in the pocket of the modder, because that is a lot. I mean, when we consider what a mod is going to cost, I would expect most mods to be, you can buy a game on Steam for, under $20 a lot of the time, like a good game, an older AAA game even. So I don't expect mods to go for $20 very often. So when we're talking about $5 mods or $10 mods, expecting people to live off of an average revenue per transaction of $1.50 to $2 or $1.25 to $2.50 is absolutely ridiculous and unreasonable and frankly insulting. So that's what...
And like
someone's saying, hold on a second, you're not taking into account the major modders are not wanting this? Who cares? Then they can release their mod for free. It's about choice.
Doesn't make
the community being upset makes no sense. If a modder wants to do something where they want to turn, their modding passion into a business, why shouldn't they be able to do their passion
and
as
I'm sure a lot
work?
of people are still going to release mods for free. Especially a lot of the just like texture mod things or not even just texture mods, but actually specifically not texture mods.
Got someone saying, Linus, your car is being stolen. No, that wouldn't have been my car. It doesn't have an alarm.
No alarm.
And it's not locked, so they wouldn't have to break into it.
Fantastic. Now everyone knows your car's unlocked. Anyways, here's a single sword, which I actually found kind of funny, was a lot of the ones that you're able to currently pay for. I think a lot of that kind of stuff might stay free because people are going to go like, oh, I want to design a sword, and they'll go and design a sword for Skyrim and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, people can have it. I think that'll happen quite a bit. I don't think people are just going to stop modding out of passion because now there's a potential way to make money.
Yep. But, I mean, I don't know. So for me personally, the fact that I could make a business out of YouTube inspired me to build a team and to make much higher quality content. I think we can all agree that what we're doing now is light years ahead of what I was able to do on my own back when I didn't have this awesome team around me. And I would like to believe that there will be the basement modders who don't want to be paid and just want to do it for fun and don't want the pressure of customers. That's a real thing. Not wanting the pressure of people who are paying for your content, wanting people to have it for free, so that if something goes wrong, you can just go, whoa, hey, yeah, well, this was free, dude. It comes with all the warranties associated with free stuff.
That's sometimes, I brought this up earlier and forgot about it. That's actually one of the reasons why I was scared about this, and one of the reasons why I like buying things sometimes, is if I buy something and it breaks, there's someone that I can hold accountable.
Yep.
And I can be like, hey, fix this. I paid for it. Fix it. Or else I'll, bring hell on you as much as I possibly can. If I'm downloading stuff for free, if anything goes wrong with it, I'm just like, okay, I'll submit a bug report or try to fix it myself. And if neither of those things work, then I guess that's about how that goes.
I've got a lot of people talking about how modders, if they want to go legit in their business. So this is more of an... Okay, so two things. Number one, people want us to talk about the $400 payment threshold from Valve, which is nonsense, by the way. That is ridiculous. The typical payment threshold is $100 for things like Google AdSense. For things like Google AdSense, if you're going to have... actually, affiliate programs that I've been part of, I think Amazon's is $100.
But it's when you make $100.
Yeah, it's when you make...
Which is the same as this.
No, it's $400.
No, you get $100.
When you make $100, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
But it's not.
But much less
because
attainable.
Lots of mods will never... you could make a sword, and you could be like, this is a $1 sword, and 350 people might buy it, and you will never get your $100 check.
I believe it was Nick or Ghost or I don't know, someone just updated this. You need to get $100 before you can withdraw the funds, so you must sell at least $400 before you can withdraw the funds.
And then, shoot, there was something else that that people were bringing up that people are bringing up that I wanted to address. Right. So the whole thing about modders, a lot of them kind of being kind of gray and sketch because they're releasing it for free. So a lot of them are not using paid versions of the often very expensive software that's involved in 3D modeling and game creation. So honestly, that's the kind of thing that is just going to have to be up to the modders. The ones that want to continue to do it for free and fly under the radar, I think are going to be put under a lot less scrutiny than the ones that decide to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to make a business out of this. We're going to make items, we're going to make game mods, we're going to make texture packs, and I guess I better invest in some actual software now because, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot that Valve or the game developer can do to police this, and people are just going to have to be responsible. And if they're not able to be responsible, that's ultimately going to be on them, which is sort of just yet another thing. Like, we're putting all the extra overhead on the modder for their 25% that they get out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing is ridiculous, and yeah. I don't know. I actually didn't really read our notes. I was just going off the top of my head on a lot of this stuff.
Well, a lot of this has been updated while we've been sitting here. So there's that. One of the interesting things, too, is going to be the people that potentially make it a paid mod on the workshop and a free mod in other ways. Like if you install it through like Skyrim Nexus or whatever, if they make it a free mod that way and a paid mod on the workshop, that could be fairly interesting. That could pull people away from the whole workshop platform. But then that'll only work for certain games, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what else to talk about. We've got like 12 minutes left.
Gamers in the UK showing a tendency of curbing pre-order habits.
Yeah, I guess there's not really a whole lot to say about that. Did you ever post the link for the Valve thing?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
20% of UK gamers have said that they have either stopped pre-ordering or pre-order less games. There's more information in that article, but it's not a ton more information.
So that's cool. It looks like...
I was actually totally down to pre-order games a long time ago.
Yep, I used to.
Yeah, and it was fine, and I actually never had a problem with it.
Yep. I got burned on Bioshock 2, and then I was done.
Yeah.
And actually, I got semi-burned on Left 4 Dead 2. I thought Left 4 Dead 2 was a complete waste of money for what they were charging for it. That should have been an expansion pack for $19.99. Okay. Okay, well, we can do this really, really quickly. Liberland is the new European nation that runs off Bitcoin, so they've got some pretty unorthodox practices. Taxes.
All cryptocurrencies.
All cryptocurrencies.
Primarily Bitcoin.
So it's a small piece of land between Croatia and Serbia. It has no military. Taxes are optional.
They should have a military. They just have like one dude with a board with a nail through it. And be like, yeah, that's our military.
Yep. So they won't let in people who have communist, Nazi, or extremist past. You can't be punished for past criminal offenses. You have to have respect for other people and respect the opinions of others, regardless of their race, ethnicity, orientation, or religion. And have respect for private ownership that is untouchable. So registrations and applications for the new country are going swimmingly, as over 20,000 people have already applied, with over 100,000 expected by the week's end. I actually didn't know it was that simple to just start a nation. We should start Linus Land.
I don't think it's that
I'd want it to be more of a theme park, though.
Because you have to have the land.
Let's just buy a theme park.
Okay.
Linus Land. And it can be the theme park nation.
Theme Park Nation.
I'm clearly not talking about anything real at this point.
No.
So let's go ahead and
Jump to the...
Let's do a little bit of video card news. Yeah, so GTX 980 Metal and 980 Ti. Let's go ahead and pull up the Kit Guru article here. So the 980 Ti is rumored to be coming next month with a 980 Metal in the works. So the rumored specs of the 980 Ti would put it pretty darn close to the Titan X. So it would have a fully featured GM200 processor. It would have 6 gigs of memory compared to 12 gigs on the Titan X, and be basically pretty darn badass with 3072 stream processors, etc., etc. Actually, I don't know if that's the full number of texture units because I can't remember the Titan X specs off the top of my head, but the point is it'll be super fast, it'll be cheaper than a Titan X, and not by a whole heck of a lot. I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Nvidia's pretty good these days at not making, people who bought the high-end thing feel too bad about it. I think people who bought Titans really got a lot of mileage out of that card, even though they paid $1,000 for it. The 980 metal enhanced version, it's unknown exactly what that is. Kit Guru speculates that it's highly unlikely it'll be based on a cut down version of the GM200 GPU. Hard to say. We don't really know much about yields
Highly
of
likely.
it. Oh, highly likely. Oh, right. I was just going to say that I don't agree with that at all, because both Titan X and 980 Ti rumors would indicate a fully featured chip. So if any of these have defective units on them, they got to do something with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so 980 metal might be it. No idea what performance or time frame will be in NVIDIA, of course. Didn't comment. They generally don't really do that. Another article from Kit Guru is that 390X availability might be limited thanks to low yields of HBM memory. So that's that new extremely high performance memory that is going to be the 390X's sort of feature presentation in terms of what it's doing that hasn't been done before. So I guess that's
about it.
pretty much all there is to really say about that. It's basically a rapid fire topic.
Yep.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here about HBM memory. So, stacks 4 DRAM dies with two 128-bit channels, blah, 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 etc., etc. It results in a memory device with a 1024-bit interface. So, yeah, it's like super crazy fast, but supply may be constrained.
So, a fairly interesting thing that I want to talk about, hammering on Steam again a little bit.
Oh, really? What'd they do?
Depends on what you think about this. I'm not a huge fan, but I'll talk about why in a moment. Anyway, Steam users now have to spend $5 in purchases before they can add friends. So I don't even think that means just adding $5 to your account. I think you have to actually buy $5 worth of things. You cannot send friend invites, open a group chat, vote on reviews on Greenlight, or participate in the Steam market, etc. So you can't sell CSGO skins if you've been gifted CSGO, because then you wouldn't have spent money.
Okay.
I've had that problem before. I've made a new account, gifted it something, and then been unable to do certain things. I think you already couldn't participate on the market. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Dominic is saying something. Apparently you can just put $5 in your wallet, but it does say specifically purchases. So I don't know.
I like this. Personally, I mean, I was talking to. Did you know that which one is it? Overclock.net. Crap. Which one is it? Extreme Systems. Sorry, Extreme Systems is a paid forum now.
Haven't they been for?
Yep.
Years?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's like $1 to join forever. It's $1 to join forever, and their comments about it. I realized when I went there not signed in, and I was like, what the crap? This is a paid site now? And then I logged into my old account, found out that it was fine because it had been created and not banned during the prepaid days. And so I messaged one of the old mods that I kind of used to know over there, and I was like, what the crap's going on? He's like, it's the best spam prevention that we could have possibly implemented. It costs people practically nothing, but it validates that they're a real person. It validates that people who have invested something into a platform are much less likely to dink around with it and, spam people. I mean, this is a big problem on Steam.
This is why I've always talked about, when ESO was coming out and I hadn't realized that it was a giant pile of junk yet. I kept on saying on the stream that I hoped it was a paid game.
Right.
I wanted there to be a subscription or at least a fee to buy the game or something like that. And then once I realized it was going to be junk, I said that it was going to go to free to play, and it did. But anyways, that's regardless. Free games get the toxic community all the time because you can just be like, whatever, I don't know if I'm going to come back to this game. Time to just flame everyone as hard as I can until I get banned, because if I decide to come back, I'll just get a new free account.
Right.
Who cares? I might lose my character or whatever, but I can also just trade all my stuff to my buddy, then get banned, and then if I want to come back, he can just give me some amount of value back or everything back or whatever. What I'm not a huge fan of on this is someone who could have not much access to any money, or say their parents don't want them to make online purchases at all, and all they want to do is do something like play TF2 online with their friends, will be unable to. Which is kind of poop. You could, I guess, like, if you hook up through Skype or whatever voice chat application, you could, like, tell people IPs, bounce back and forth that way, and then just make sure all your communication is completely outside of the game. But it's kind of annoying that you wouldn't be able to communicate through the Steam platform. So it's not completely stopping them, because you could still join servers through that. But there's a fair amount of games. I think CSGO, if you want to do matchmaking, I know you can join servers on CSGO, but I think if you want to do like the matchmaking side of things, you have to have access to the friend system.
Right.
So like if your buddy wants to buy you CSGO and sends it to your account, then you'd only be able to really play. Like I think you could do matchmaking, but I don't think you could do matchmaking lobbies with your friends, because I don't know how you could invite someone to it. There might be some way around that. Twitch chat is probably correcting me right now, but it's just kind of annoying. I don't know.
I've got Lance B. Taylor saying on Twitch chat, Twitch should be paid to get rid of the idiots. Well, a lot of streamers do that. They have their
subscriber chat.
Subscriber-only chat. A lot of people have asked why we don't have subscribers on this show. It's because we only stream once a week, so I don't think it's a great value. We think people who are giving us a recurring monthly contribution should be doing it because of the content in general, not just because of our Twitch streaming, so they should just be contributing through the website.
Yeah.
Just as a quick way to address that. So, next article is on Ars Technica. I got the link this time. Boop, 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 and iFixit has completed their teardown of the Apple Watch, which is rumored, and this is pure speculation. I don't know why this news article is getting spread so rapidly. Rumored to have sold, I think it was, how many... no, up further. 3 million units, and that would be $2 billion of revenue, and or something. Anyway, it's an estimate. So Think Big Analytics, though, estimates that gross margins on the Apple Watch are in excess of 60%, making it extraordinarily profitable. iFixit says replacing the Apple Watch's battery is easy. Replacing the processor is hard, something to do with resin and whatnot. Replacing the screen is apparently fairly easy, and they gave it a repairability score of 5 out of 10. Not too bad.
Not too bad for a watch.
Yep, not as good as the iPhone 6, but pretty darn good considering the compactness of the device. With that said, I don't know if they've taken apart the Edition, for example, though.
Right.
Sony has announced the Xperia...
Oh, the Edition was just gold and no other changes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure if they would have made any... If that would change anything about the construction, though.
Right, yeah.
I mean, different metals can make a difference.
Yeah.
Sony announces the Xperia Z4, their flagship for 2015. Basically, they changed not a whole heck of a lot. Snapdragon 810, 32 gig storage.
Every single phone is the same.
Micro SD, 3 gigs of RAM, 2930 milliamp hour battery, 20.7 megapixel rear camera, and it is dust and waterproof.
Seriously, every single phone is the same. All of the phone announcements today were 810s except for one, and it was the low-end one. Anyways, oh well. Is that it? Are we good?
AMD revealed that Windows 10 will launch in late July. I was kind of trying to wait till Windows 10 to move everyone's workstations and sort of re-OSify everything around here, but we picked up a couple of Windows 8 licenses today, actually, for a couple of the new servers. Yes, I know it's not a server OS. I don't care. It doesn't actually matter for most of the things we're doing. If we decide to virtualize the 36-core machine, and we have...
Which we probably will.
I don't want to say probably. I will say we may do. It depends.
I know, but it's not going to be able to... Yeah.
If Media Encoder handles it okay, then we'll just have it be a single machine.
I agree. I just seriously doubt that it will.
If it doesn't, then what we may end up actually doing... That might actually be kind of smart. If we did 8 virtual machines... each with 32 gigs of RAM, so we'd have to double the RAM, and then we gave every editor their own render box. And it was all running off of the one box.
That has benefits and downsides.
Yeah,
Interesting
it does.
conversation to have.
Anyway.
Because you wouldn't be able to just, pound out videos.
Yeah.
Well, it would still be really quick, but not as fast.
Yeah.
But
but they wouldn't use each other's resources.
And you could have parallelized rendering and all this kind of stuff.
AMD reveals Windows 10 will launch in late July, so I couldn't hold out that long, so I'm going 8.1 on some of that stuff. I'll figure out if, like, I'd feel pretty sketch about upgrading an OS on a server, so there's that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What's your gut feeling on that one?
Honestly, usually I'm like, nope, but then looking at how amazingly well my upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 and then revert back from Windows 10 to Windows 7 went, I am actually kind of down.
Okay.
Did I really talk to you about that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like, that was the best part of the whole experience, was how well it went up and back down again.
Apparently, non-paying Steam users can still accept friend requests. They may not send them out. So
okay, that's not that big of a deal.
So they can have a friends list, but they just have to have someone else
So
send
it's
them.
group messages. So they could message the people on their friends with it. I'm cool with it then. I have no problem. That was the only thing I didn't like. So, yeah. Sure.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for the show today. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Like it if you liked it.
Dislike it if you didn't like it as much
Yeah,
as you could have possibly
if you liked it less. And I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Please work.
Yay!
Hey, it worked. Yay!
Woo! Fresh books! Linda! Spread
Show's over. We can make out now.